as we try to figure out, well, what team would Levine go to? Who wants him? Who wants that contract? You're the Lakers. Like, figure it out. He's 28 years old, $40 million a year. You're going to be in the tax every year, every way. But this leads to my second question, which is a more dramatic question, and which is admittedly really just for dialogue, for social, just for as a thought experiment, as a thought bubble. What if they went the other way and worked with LeBron and actually traded him and just said, you know what? We don't have it. We're not good enough. You only have 4 rings. We know you want more. You have a player option for next year. You could go somewhere for 4 months on a really good team and try to actually win your 5th title. It's not going to happen here. We're not good enough. I don't think they're at that point yet, but they might be in a month. What if they're 4 games under 500 with no signs of life and can't add anybody? And he's like, Jesus, I thought I was going to get to watch my son at USC and be on a top 5 team, and we're a playing team with no real chance. Is that even conceivable to you?
Man, it's hard to wrap my head around, Bill. The moment that LeBron chose the Lakers, however many years ago that was that 18?
18, summer 18.
Yeah. I thought, all right, that's it. Like that, there's the last chapter, right? He goes there. He tries to build on the Laker legacy and his own legacy. His family loves LA. They've already got a home there. His media company's there. All that stuff. All these different ways in which it's the perfect place to finish out his career. And I've never thought he was going to have another move in him. But listen, I mean, you were just talking about he's no longer at that level of Jokic, Embiid, Tatum, Luka, whoever. Like, he's not a perennial MVP candidate, but
he's still one of the best 12 guys in the league.
Yes, he's in our rankings in the top 10 or 12, right? In the Ringers rankings. And he's legitimately there. But he needs more help than he needed before. He could still do some damage. And so you don't want to waste that. He's definitely not going to want to waste that. And I'm sure that the way he has played this season probably encourages him to think, shit, I'm 40, 41, 42. I can keep going. And maybe LA isn't the practical solution there anymore. So my rule of thumb on this is simple. If LeBron comes to you and says it's time, cool, it's time. If LeBron doesn't, I just don't see how you trade it. Like, you're not just trading LeBron. Like, you're not just like calling him one day and say, pack your bags, we just sent you to Memphis. Like, it doesn't work that way.
By the way, that'd be amazing if the Lakers were like, bombshell. LeBron's been traded. What?
Could you imagine?
I have 3 trades for you, and maybe this will make you think differently.
I have a few that I've come up with, but I don't like any of them. But go ahead.
Well, I was trying to think. It would have to be a team that could say to itself, we're adding LeBron, we could win the title.
Yes.
So team number 1 is obviously Philadelphia, who has 1 million expirings.
Yes.
It could go a bunch of ways. They could trade. It could be a dump trade for the Lakers where they just get expirings back and whatever picks they have left. They could get Tobias Harris and Marcus Morris back and throw somebody Philly's way and get 2 picks. But I did play that one out in my head a little bit. Like, okay, now we have added LeBron to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey with a bunch of wings who can defend, with Melton, with Paul Reed coming off the bench, with Nick Nurse, and LeBron comes in as this Swiss Army knife offensive hybrid. I was like, I kind of like this idea. And then LeBron smartly realizing, hey, Joel Embiid's really good. Those guys are scoring 60 points a game. I'm just here to facilitate and be a veteran and just do my thing. Nobody fits in. I mean, I would say LeBron's one of the 4 best. I can fit in, be a Swiss Army knife guy that we've had. He's older now, but that one was interesting.
And Daryl has chased him. Daryl has chased him like 17 times when he was in Houston.
Also, as a Celtics fan, I'd be like, holy fucking shit, they just got LeBron James?
That would scare you a little, right?
Huh?
That would scare you a little, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would scare me a lot. I like Tobias Harris, but if you could turn him into Tobias Harris and an expiring and a pick, that would frighten me.
I had a list of 3 teams that I thought were like intriguing but unlikely, just because I wasn't sure if there was enough coming back. And I know you're trading a 39-year-old LeBron, so you can't expect
on an expiring.
I hate to say it, you're not getting a Rudy Gobert payout
right
for LeBron. That's a really weird fucking sentence to say. And with Philly, there's no young stud you're getting back. Their picks aren't great. They've got there's a OKC Houston Clippers pick that they own. It's one of the three in 2026, and then a 2028 Clipper pick. Tobias Harris and maybe Melton.
It's probably not enough.
It's probably
not enough.
It's probably not enough. I thought about Milwaukee as an obvious, yes, you want to send him to a contender, but Milwauke's got nothing. I mean,
Middleton has to be in it. And they have no other picks. They got
Middleton,
nothing to
Connaughton, Beauchamp, Beasley.
Nothing.
They got no picks. It just doesn't work. The other one I had in the unlikely category in the East was the Knicks, because they've got all those picks, but a lot of those picks are really heavily protected. They're going to be late first, or they're going to turn to seconds, and it's it would be I don't know, Fournier, Hart back to LA, Dante DiVincenzo.
You don't
plus
think Randall has to be in that?
Randall probably has to be in it, but if you're the Lakers, are you pairing Randall and Anthony Davis, or is this the first step toward just a complete teardown? And Randall is going to be, are you rerouting him? Are you eventually trading Anthony Davis too? A Randall, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves team isn't doing anything.
You didn't mention the least improbable part of that trade, which would be LeBron and Rich Paul reuniting with Leon Rose and World Wide Wes. I'm going to say that's not happening.
Probably
I'm going to go on the record as that will not happen.
It's a minor snag.
Yeah, that is that. What was your third team?
Oh, those were the three in the unlikely category, and then I have two.
Wait, who was the third one? It was Knicks and Philly
and the Sixers. The Sixers who you'd already mentioned, and Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay,
I had a list of two maybes that I thought.
I wonder if they're the same maybes that I had. Let's hear them.
All right, first one's Miami.
Oh, that was my first one.
The math is tough. I played with the trade machine.
It's not that tough.
Hero, Jaquez, Caleb Martin, salary filler, and picks. And the Heat don't have a lot of picks available, I don't think, but they do have picks available plus swaps. And again, I don't know how it's hard to set the price for a 39-year-old LeBron James, right?
I tell you something, Howard Beck? I don't think Miami would trade Jaquez
for LeBron.
For anyone who's not a top 20 guy. I think they're completely all
LeBron's
in,
top 20.
100%. Well, I'm saying like a rental.
Yeah.
I just don't think they would trade Jaquez. I think they would have to get a major guy who's going to be their long-term back. I had a similar one. I had LeBron and Gabe Vincent, ironically going back to Miami, for Lowry and Robinson, maybe throw in that Jovic and a future first. So it's a little bit of a salary dump for the Lakers, even though Robinson's got a pick back or got an extra year and they get a pick out of it and kind of do right by LeBron. And then there's the symmetry of LeBron going back to Miami 10 years later. That's kind of fun. They could dust out the old Miami 6 jerseys. I was kind of into that one because if they could keep Jaquez and keep Caleb Martin and keep Butler and keep Bam and keep Tyler Hero and then add LeBron to all of that, that becomes, I think, a possible favorite in the East.
I think there's a deal somewhere between mine and yours. I'm probably overpaying from Miami's side, and you might be underpaying from Miami's side for the Lakers purposes.
Yeah, maybe
right?
Hero's in that. Maybe it's Hero and Robinson.
Yeah,
but
I think a hero, at least one player that you're actually excited about if you're the Lakers has to be in there. Somebody who's young and decent. So I feel like Hero has to be in there. But
so
maybe
it has to be maybe
Hero
and Lowry for LeBron and Gabe Vincent, and then there's a Miami pick. Yeah, sure. It's interesting. It would be the holy shit basketball trade. We've had how many holy shit basketball trades? LeBron going back to Miami was not on the bingo board.
It's the thing is, this does not feel implausible, does it?
This one is the first one that doesn't feel implausible. What's your other team? Let's see if we have the same team.
This one is even more if this were to happen, just the Twitter would break, the universe would break, things would break. LeBron to the Warriors?
That was my other team.
Again, I don't know if I'm overpaying from the Warriors side. Wiggins, Kuminga, Moody, Gary Payton II, and whatever picks you could put in there if necessary. LeBron and Steph together. LeBron finally gets to play with Chris Paul. Remember, LeBron, the Banana Boat crew. LeBron finally played with Carmelo. He had played with Wade for the 4 years. Chris Paul is the one guy from his Banana Boat crew that he's never actually been teammates with. So if Chris Paul's not in the deal, and I'm not putting him in the deal in my scenario,
and Draymond, who I think if you could say, what player could we bring into a Warriors situation if they keep Draymond that might be able to get his head on track? LeBron would be the guy, right? He's very differential to LeBron. My version of that trade was Clay. Clay's expiring. There's no way you can trade Clay, but if you did trade him to his team that his dad played on, the Lakers, and you do that. Looney's in there as a big guy, and then Kuminga, I think, is a legitimate piece that, if you're selling on the Lakers season and you could get Kuminga as the prize and maybe you re-sign Clay for less, there's something there. But if you're the Warriors and you can keep, because you can't use Kuminga anyway if you have LeBron.
Yeah.
And you can keep Brando Pods, you can keep Jackson Davis, you can keep all the guys you care about who are actually helping you this year, plus Curry, plus Chris Paul, plus Draymond. Now you have this older veteran team with a couple young guys. That's not nothing. And he's always wanted to play there. Like the last couple years, he's sent out some, he went from feuding with kind of quiet feuding with Steph Curry to jumping on the bandwagon about 3-4 years ago, which I thought was notable. And now it's like, Chef will be lighting it up and he'll do a chef hat on Twitter. And it's not inconceivable to me.
It's not inconceivable at all. I think it would be the painful part for the Lakers would be having to send him right up, the up the 101 up to Northern California. Not a real rivalry, Lakers Warriors, but pseudo, and you probably want to send LeBron east, but it's also short term, right? Like short term ish. Again, I should not say that. Who knows when LeBron's finally going to retire or when he'll need to. I think it would be tough for the Lakers, but I think there's a lot of appeal there. The one piece I would hold off on yours is, and this is, I admit this is purely sentimental. This is where I let other things that are not basketball get in the way. I would rather see the Lakers or the Warriors hang on to Clay if they can. That's why I put Wiggins in there instead. I think, and especially
that's fair. I know, and that trade still works. You could do Wiggins and Looney and Kuminga. You could make the contracts work at that point.
Yeah, it could still work, and then you keep that core together, right? If you wanted Steph, Clay, and Draymond to go out together, and Steph
with
may
LeBron,
outlast
with Chris Paul, holy shit, that'd be really fun. Well, can I tell you what I think's actually going to happen?
All right, I do have one crazy one.
Let's hear.
Tell me what you want me to hit this first,
because we got to wrap up soon. So tell me what.
All right.
Tell me what you have.
What if we sent LeBron back to his other former team?
I thought about that, but they are kind of hanging around.
LeBron for Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert works salary-wise.
Wow.
And then you have, I know they got to get healthy, but Garland, LeBron, Mobley, Jared Allen.
That's not bad. I thought about that, but I think if he gets traded, it has to be like I can win a title. But I guess Cleveland's not any further away than Golden State is.
Is LeBron with Garland, Mobley, Allen? I know, like Garland and Mobley still have some growing up to do, but I'm not saying that team knocks out Boston and Milwaukee and Philly, but I think they're no worse than fourth in the East at that point.
I tried to talk myself into a Bradley Beal, LeBron kind of thing with him going to Phoenix, and the trade machine called me a fucking idiot and said, get off the trade machine. This has gone too far.
I had a few of those moments today.
This is how it's probably going to play out. They'll probably get rid of Darvin Ham. My biggest fear, this is where as you know, I'm an only child. I'm selfish. My biggest fear is they change coaches and all of a sudden Doc Rivers is the Lakers coach. And then I lose Doc Rivers, who's been really great on my podcast all season. And all of a sudden I lose Doc, and Darvin Ham will not be as good as Doc on the podcast. So that's my scariest thing. The funniest thing would be if they hired Mark Jackson, and Mark Jackson was back in our lives as the new Lakers head coach, doing hand down, man down, all that stuff. But it doesn't feel great. I wouldn't feel awesome if I was Darvin Ham today, because we've seen coaches get fired midseason before on LeBron teams.
He was fire Darvin Ham. That phrase was trending on Twitter as of about like 12:30 Eastern time today.
Yeah, it's tough. And, he's done a bad job this year. There's no question. It's the rotations have been too weird.
I'm always somewhere in the middle on these things, Bill. Not always. Often, and this is one of the situations where I am, where it's easy to look at the rotations and the lineups and the volatility and all the changes and say he's pushing the wrong buttons and everything. But it kind of goes back to the premise that we started with earlier, which is when you have a bunch of guys in your 4 through 10 range, 4 through 15 range in the rotation or on the roster, who all have limitations, obvious limitations, one way, one dimensional, whatever. It's hard to find that. And so it may well be that Darvin Ham has not pushed the right buttons. It may also well be the fact that Rob Pelinka has not given him the right tools to work with to make that a little bit more obvious. You start hunting and pecking when nothing's working. Well, this didn't work. I tried it for a few games. Shit, what do I do now? All right, D'Angelo Russell to the bench. He's reaching, and he may take the fall for it, but I don't know that it's necessarily should be that much on him. But I don't know, short of the Zach LaVine deal or something, I don't know if there's an obvious way forward. I mean, my other crazy notion today, as I was kicking around all these thoughts, was like, what if you traded Anthony Davis instead? Like, I know that one's crazy, but Anthony Davis could get you back, I would think, quite a bit. Right.
The problem is it's a 3-for-1, and now you have even more players, so you have to figure out what that'll do with.
Yeah,
it's probably Zach LaVine. Maybe Zach LaVine's first, and then if it still doesn't work, then you think about the coach. But